Hello everyone! Finally, episode 37 of Skibidi Zombie Universe got released just a few hours ago, and it definitely surprised me a lot. And let me tell you that some of my predictions regarding the events of the previous episode definitely came out to be true. So today I'm going to tell you what really happened in this episode, as well as reveal to you all the secrets and Easter eggs that you could have missed on your own. Did the members of our favorite squad really manage to overcome their fears? Who is hiding behind the persona of speakerwoman? What's going to happen to the police Skibidi mutant, and will he survive in the next episode? And most importantly, what crazy secret information did Monster Up himself tell me about the future of Skibidi Zombie series? If you want to know the answers to all these questions, then get your tea and snacks ready and prepare to watch this video to the end, because I saved the craziest part for later. Let's go! But before I'll start digging into episode 37, let me remind you real quick about the events of the previous episode so you won't get too confused about what has actually been going on. Okay, so episode 36 started with Plungerman, who was activating the unfinished Skibidi project in the form of this two-headed giant robot while using the power of the Hephaestus core. And it was based on the Knight's recent lecture that robots can utilize such cores without any drawbacks like passing away. And this move seemed pretty wise, as a swarm of head crab-infected freaks was approaching our squad. The huge robot got quickly activated, showcasing a design that looked really similar to Dr. Octopus' appearance from the second Spider-Man movie, and also to the Terminator from the homonymous franchise. So this weirdly shaped robot starts attacking the head crab monsters, although initially it didn't really succeed in identifying them as enemies, so he chose unidentified word instead. And it seemed like this robot was just created long before the zombie virus outbreak, and it didn't even know about the existence of zombies in its system. The robot uses bird shots for crowd control and even deploys flames from its core to incinerate the monsters. And meanwhile, Plungerman, Speakerwoman, and the rest of their team engage in another cool fight against the mutants with really impressive camera work from Monster Up. And later in that chaos, the robot mistakenly targets Plungerman as he was considering him an enemy, because it was created before the Alliance and Skibidi toilets joined their forces. And to this machine, a cameraman or speakerman still must be seen as an enemy. But what's interesting, though, is how in the same scene we could see this robot identifying Speakerwoman as unidentified as well, as if she was the zombie too. And despite Skibaldi's best efforts to stop the robot, it remains unhinged and attacks Plungerman. But thankfully, the police Skibidi mutant intervenes, who sacrifices his hand in order to deactivate the robot by removing the X-18 core. Then the team reaches a cave entrance marked with a sign, "To get through, conquer your fear." And here they had to face individual trials meant to test their worthiness for possessing the powerful Atlantis core. So Plungerman confronts an illusion of the Plague Doctor, representing his fear of becoming another Dave. And despite his struggle, he overcomes the fear, while another Skibidi toilet fails his trial and turns to stone. And in episode 37, we're about to see how Skibaldi is about to conquer his fear. Okay, so now when your memory is refreshed and you're all set and ready, episode 37 is already on your screens. But before I'll dive into actual analysis, let me remind you to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content I'm making, because I really appreciate your support. Okay, so if you are subscribed now, let's get back to the episode. And it starts with the, well, first of all, it starts with the censored version of Boom's original nickname, which made me laugh a bit when I saw it at first. Apparently, the full version of Boom's name doesn't please YouTube Kids' friendly policy at all. And that's why I call him Boom as well, by the way. His full name can really get you into trouble. Okay, but I digressed here a bit. So the 37th episode starts with Skibaldi this time. And considering what unfortunate fate his comrade faced at the end of the previous episode, I was actually really nervous for this little guy. Because it must be no surprise for you guys that I love this character the most. He's just a cinnamon roll in this world of zombies, freaks, and toilets. And in my analysis of episode 36, I supposed that Skibaldi can see the evil Plungerman as a form of his own fear. But apparently I was mistaken this time, because at first he sees the hallucination in a form of this creepy monkey toy that seemingly came straight out of Homer's head. But then, this innocent toy gets transformed into the zombie version of our poor bald guy. And although this was created as a classic form of a horror screamer, I didn't really flinch in that moment. And what about you guys? Who knows? Maybe I was already well prepared by the previous horror episodes of Skibidi Zombie Universe. Okay, but this scene also tells me that Skibidi's worst fear is losing the feeling of his true self, which actually sounds really noble. So now I feel like I respect this character even more. Although I still think that it would be cool to see the evil Dave in his place as well, and it would also match Skibidi's character. So the original Skibidi gets approached by his zombie version almost face to face, but it seems like without causing any fear on his opponent, this zombie illusion has no real power against him. So it just roars at Skibidi, who bravely knocks it away with his beautiful bald head. And then something really interesting happens. The zombie illusion looks right into the eye of Skibidi as if it was testing his patience and willpower with it. Skibidi glances back and exclaims, "Skibidi." And in the next frame, we can see both of them looking at each other at the same time as if they were staring at each other's souls. And it seems like Skibidi successfully passed this trial and showed no true fear. And after that, the zombie illusion also says Skibidi, as if it was telling something like, "Okay, brother, that was a hood job, you passed." And after that, Skibidi gets his guns ready and simply unveils this illusion that was initially cast on him by the purple core. What a cool scene. I really liked it. And then we're getting transferred to the police mutant who already saved us once and sacrificed his arm for it. And this guy wasn't really in the mood for psychological horrors and all that crap, as he could be seen simply suffocating this scary ghost without any fears whatsoever. The Chad is busy doing his Chad's things, I suppose, and just as he was finally done with it and got up, something totally unexpected happened, because he barely managed to see 2 knives which were sent flying into his face. But thankfully, his reaction was quick enough to repel both of them. And then he examines the second knife a little bit closer, and his hand starts shaking in anger. And do you know why? Because he must have recognized the owner of these knives really well. Who do you think operates with hand knives in the battle? Of course it's speakermen. Or to be more precise, in Boom's original universe, it was confirmed that at least 2 speakerman characters were masters of the melee fight with 2 knives. It was the Dark Speakerman and Speakerwoman. So could it be her hiding somewhere in the dark, who tried to eliminate the members of the plungerman squad one by one? And you can ask me of 2 things. First of all, shouldn't Speakerwoman be busy conquering her own fear? And second of all, why would she betray her comrades? Okay, so do you guys remember how while retelling the previous episode, I said that Speakerwoman was marked as unidentified by Skibidi robot instead of an enemy? And in my previous analysis, I also said how it may be not Speakerwoman at all, but a sinister someone who tries to look like her and infiltrate the plungerman squad. And in this episode, all pieces of this theory come together. And the knives aren't even the worst part, so keep watching this video to the end not to miss anything. And it seems to me that the police mutant started having his own suspicions regarding her. Okay, and then we're switching to the next scene where we see Plungerman finally reaching the initial point of his squad's destination. So he finds himself at the same exact location that was already shown to us in the first secret scene of Season 7 All Episodes compilation. Nothing really changed about this environment, including the petrified figures of multiple TV men and unknown Titanic figures. And in the next frame, we can see that Plungerman is not the only one who managed to get here right in time, because the police mutant Skibidi and the infamous Speakerwoman twin is already here too. And we can see how the police mutant looks at Plungerman at first and then glances at Speakerwoman behind him, and his facial expression says nothing kind about her. And Speakerwoman notices this look as well, and she apparently realizes that both the police mutant and Plungerman started having their own suspicions about her true nature. But she tries to play it cool, as if she didn't even notice anything, and turns her back at both of them. And then the police mutant notices something even scarier, and it's some kind of physical glitch that moves across her body. And man, we all were definitely freaked out by this. And considering that Skibidi was literally looking directly at her in that moment, he must have noticed this weird glitch as well. But before dealing with the false Speakerwoman, our squad has yet to face one more problem which is more prominent at the moment. And it seems like this time the Purple Corps prepared one last trial for all of our agents. And this trial is to simply survive long enough. So Atlantis sends the bits of its special power to every single petrified figure of those who tried to capture this core as well, but failed miserably. So apparently this core not actually destroyed those who weren't worthy of its power, but turned them into its mindless servants or something like this. Well, at least that's how I interpret these figures. And in the next moment when its vital powers reach their bodies, we can notice how they didn't really become unpetrified, but instead the core started controlling them as if they were its obedient puppet dolls. And you can also see the eerie expressions on their TV screens at this moment, which is another sign that these TV men aren't conscious at this point and their minds are still blank, and it's just their bodies that were moved by the Atlantis core. And it also seems like this core is able to grant some really outstanding physical strength to those it controls, and that's why these TV men start moving crazy fast. But at the same time, they don't seem to be durable enough as they are still made out of stone, and that's why when Skibidi starts blasting from his guns, some of these TV men's limbs begin to be ripped off or shot down very easily, which allowed our team to thin out their rows a lot. And when the police mutant also jumps into the air and activates his rocket launchers, the task seems to become even easier than it was for our squad already. But the number of petrified servants still doesn't really seem to shrink. So our team starts feeling the pressure of simply getting outnumbered. The police mutant gets knocked down on the ground by one of the TV men who jumped at him, and plungerman gets cornered by the wall while fiercely fighting for his life in the melee fight. And he's actually doing pretty damn well, especially considering how much of a menace he was in the earlier episodes, when he basically outdid some characters from Mortal Kombat game series and Bruce Lee from his Kung Fu movies. But then, when it actually started to look like plungerman has a chance to win in this battle while just doing solo, we are getting shown how the destroyed bodies of TV men began to rejuvenate and get in one piece again. And well, that seems like a huge problem. Skibidi then gets knocked down by one of the TV men, and he also notices something even worse in that moment. As if self-repairing stone enemies weren't enough of a problem, the purple core then sends even more steams of its power to other row of stone bodies, so this time the petrified giants come to life. And man, now that doesn't look good at all. Because aside from their size, these giants also seem to have their own cores and cannons, which are capable of producing some purple energy lasers or something like that. And almost all the members of our squad, even including the false speakerwoman, are already captured by the regular stone TV men. And right now, it seems like there is no hope left for us. And well, I said almost, because there is still one guy who is free from TV men's grab, and it's our police mutant Chad. And he manages to catch the Hephaestus core that plungerman throws to him, and he doesn't even think twice of what to do next. While the heroic music is playing in the background, he makes the decision of using this core himself in order to save his friends from the terrible fate, even though it will most likely destroy him as he is the usual Skibidi and he doesn't have the additional vital power source to fuel this core. But he still decides to do it because he's a hero, so he gets transformed into the awesome cyber soldier. And man, I believe that the next episode will start with the epic battle between him and all the powers that Atlantis will try to throw at him. Okay, and now it's time to tell you something heartbreaking. Because Monster Up told me exclusively that the series is only building up its power. And what we're about to see after a couple of episodes is one of the most epic battles ever. But we will lose some of our beloved characters in this battle, although he didn't tell me who exactly will pass away. So it seems like Zombie Universe is about to get some really tragic turn very soon. And that was all for today. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you will not miss my new videos. And also don't forget to leave your question to Monster Up about the future plot of Skibidi Zombie series. And that was me, ISO Toilet. See ya!